Greetings, I, TheWarOwl, greets you, and welcome to another episode of Strat Talk, the series where we talk about strategies for the game Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This time we're looking at a round between the Ninjas in Pyjamas and TSM. The Ninjas in Pyjamas were in a position where they couldn't buy fully, but they spent their money on this round, and they will be able to buy next round no matter what happens. So they have this Armor Tech 9 push, and check out these smokes. We have a full barrage of 4 smokes flying over here, and it's very creative. It splits the site off a little bit. It's interesting, it's new, I haven't seen anything like it before, so let's talk about it a little bit and sort of the effectiveness of it. And we see at this point it's a 3 versus 3, terrorists do have control of the site, so in all respects, it worked, but is it a good idea? Now, one thing this gives us the opportunity to talk about here is smoking off on Mirage. There's a bunch of different creative, interesting ways to do it, but let's talk about the two most basic. The first is sort of the standard smoke off that you see a lot. You have one smoke here to block off jungle and connector, one smoke to block off the stairs, and then one smoke over here to block off CT spawn. This allows the terrorists to move in from these two positions very quickly, sort of after the CT smokes have cleared, or they can push through it if they want. They flash over the top of this wall right here, and then they can push into the site and take it. Now, this is very effective against sort of a Fnatic style of setup on the CT side, where you have one player, Olaf Meister, who sits right here, and one player, Crims, who sort of plays the stairs when they decide to push into the site. So it's very effective against that kind of a strategy, but it's not very effective against like a Virtus Pro style of setup, where you have Taz, who's sitting under here. And then if you have a player who's up front like this, they might even feel like they want to push their other player forward into the site and sort of hold it a little bit more aggressively. The idea of the smokes, though, the very basic concept is that it blocks off these players if anyone's playing here, allows them to move into the site, and prevents rotators from helping out. So even if 2 players are inside of the site, this player who's playing mid and rotates over here to hold the jungle position is most likely not going to push through that smoke. So very effective, very useful, very basic, right? Now let's talk about the other way. Like, look at this site. It's a very interesting site. You have all these different sort of pillars that you can use to sort of set up interesting smoke-offs, right? Here's one of them. This is sort of the Na'Vi way to do it. They throw 3 smokes, one here, and one here. And it's very interesting because it splits this whole half of the site off, allows the terrorists to push through here, and then they can push forward here and sort of attack the players who are playing at the connector area and at the window area and at jungle. So it sort of blocks off the players here. This works really well against that Virtus Pro style that we were talking about before, where you have the player here is going to get smoked off, and the player here is going to get smoked off. And they can focus on the one player who's at jungle as they push forward here and really pick him. What's interesting about this one as well, we think about it here, we have one player here on the CTs, one player here on the CTs, one player here that they're trying to kill. We have another player playing short, right? So his vantage point, he's going to sit and hold this angle right here as this is happening, because this is where the Ts are going to probably try to push through. A lot of times, you can sneak a player up and walk him up short, because as the middle player is going to be focusing on what's going on over here as well. He's not going to be watching mid. You can walk this player up and even pick the player at short. So that's another really interesting way to do it. I've seen Na'Vi do it a lot, which is why I call it the Na'Vi way. This way by the Ninjas in Pyjamas is completely different than all of those. Instead of splitting it here, instead of cutting off the site, they sort of split it down this way to allow them, I guess, to get rid of all of these different angles and sort of push into the site. So let's hop in game now. I'll show you how to throw each of the smokes, and then we'll talk a little bit more in depth about if this works or not. So I know you guys like to see the smokes, however, these aren't really smokes I would recommend learning, but I'm going to show them to you anyway, because you guys always like to see like how to do them. So the first one is one you actually should know and should learn. Jump up on the first step, look right here, look in the center of this geometry figure right there. This one is one you should already know from my other videos. It is the stair smoke. It's very standard, very basic, and look, that's one you gotta know, blocks off the stairs. So let's talk about the other 3, and these are ones, again, I would recommend you really don't have to learn. The first, you line up sort of on the left side of this door right here. Then you're going to look at the left side of this lantern and move up and up and up and up until you line up with this pillar. It's the first one from the left here. So move up and up and up, sort of like right there. This is to block off the left side of this giant area right here. It's going to land somewhere right here. Exactly where I shot, because I'm amazing. Now let's throw the companion smoke to that to block it. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. How does anybody go by these without shooting them? I will not know. All right, Second one, instead of the left side of the door, you're going to land up on the right side of the door right here. Then you're going to look sort of at the in between these two big bricks right here, and you're going to move up and up and up and up and up and up until you're sort of in the bottom of the wire here, sort of in the middle of where that little one comes out. So like right there. Right there. This one is sort of the companion to the other one. You see it'll land like sort of right here, and it'll block off this side of it. So let me throw those both together to show you sort of what they look like if they land in the same time. So they're both down. And you can see from this perspective, you can't see through here anywhere. You can't see through the corner, can't see through here, can't see through here, can't see through here. However, after these smokes are down, and that one's down as well, look at this. You have this whole little wear area in the back right here. You can come all the way over here and then still be able to prevent a bomb plant inside of the site. You could even spam those spots through the other smoke. So let's talk about the third smoke. This is a stupid smoke. And I say it's a stupid smoke because it's not one you're really going to be using, and it's not easy to reproduce. So you come over here. This is the way that I saw, I think it was Exist was doing it. And look at in between these two bricks. It's where you see this very dark thing. Like crack inside of the brick. You look at right here in between the two masonry bricks. Stand in this spot. Then you're going to look sort of here, I guess, in between this thing. Move up and up and up until you're at the bottom of the sun. And then you're going to do a walking throw. Throw it while you're walking. This is what the guy did. I'm just copying it here. Okay, that's actually a much better smoke than what he threw. Because look, then a player can't really help out very much from over here. Actually, he can still jump up. It's not perfect. It should be a little bit further over. But anyway, this is a stupid smoke. And I spent a lot of time watching this, trying to figure out exactly where he was trying to throw it. I think this is the exact one he threw. It's not going to go as far. And yeah, I'm not really sure where it was supposed to go. I think it's supposed to go right here. But really, at the end of the day, what does it really accomplish? Because a player from CT can easily walk over here and look at this angle. He can watch up here. He can watch down here. Kill players as they're entering. I didn't really understand the point of that. Or this one as well. Wouldn't it have been better in this situation to just do the standard smoke-offs? Now, the other thing that they did, which I thought was really smart, was after throwing those smokes, in case somebody was inside of sandwich, like a lot of times when those smokes come down, a player could jump over stairs and into sandwich through the smoke. They came up here and they threw a smoke like this. Or they threw a Molotov like this. And this Molotov, very expensive for this round, pretty much forced the player who was inside of sandwich to bunny hop his way back over here and get behind the smoke. So there were 3 players inside of the site to try to hold off their push onto the site. All they really needed to do was get the bomb down. They didn't really accomplish it. I didn't find it very useful. I didn't think it was really important to split off this area of the site. Why not just do the standard one? Now, if we look at it from the perspective of entering the site and preventing certain vantage points. So one of them is a player behind this box looking into the site, and a player here as well, which is why a smoke that lands here is very useful. Because as you're entering the site now, you don't really have to deal with that player. You only have to deal with this one spot right there. So you have the Molotov there, you have the smoke blocking off there, you have the smoke on top of the stairs, and then that one right there, and you're fine. And then the other smoke you could throw could land right here and block off CT spawn. I think this would have been better, and then this player really couldn't help if you get it a little bit further over. There's a better way to throw that one. I don't know, but splitting this area off, I can't really figure out for the life of me why that was smart at all. I know, we're analyzing this round, but it didn't really make sense, did it? So I've got a simple way to deal with the same situation in case you want something for your 5-man team. So you got armor, tech 9, you're in a sort of a bad economic space, you should be able to buy next round. You want to go for a bomb plan A and try to win this round. This is going to take you 3 smokes. You could use 3 smokes. You can even get an extra Molotov. So use 2 Molotovs and 3 smokes would actually be pretty nice. So the first smoke, you already know. You already know all 3 of these. This is just a combination of them. This is from the standard smoke off. That one is for stairs. Here's the second one here. This is the companion smoke to that one that I just threw. And then the third smoke is going to be from the Navi smokes that'll land sort of in the middle of the site and block off the vantage point from CT. So here are the 3 smokes. You got that smoked off. You got this position smoked off. As you're running in, you could throw a Molotov here if you want. I don't know if there'd be a player there in that situation. Get the bomb player and go plant inside of the smoke right in the front. And then look, after it's planted right there, you can watch that from A main. You can watch that from Tetris. You've got the bomb planted. They're the ones who has to push you now. You've got a great position. I don't know. I think that would be a nice way to do it. The Molotovs you could throw instead of that one could be this Molotov, which bounces underneath the stairs. I've shown that in a previous video. I haven't shown this one, but you can Molotov over here as well if a player's trying to hide behind that box. That makes it easy to push in. So as you got your armor Tech 9. So let's pretend that's smoked off, and we've got this smoke down in the middle here. As you're entering, the vantage point you got to worry about is right here, right? As you're moving through, then you got to worry about over here. You can Molotov those positions off. All you got to worry about is inside of the site here. And you don't really even have to walk over here and peek over here because you got the bomb planted in a position like this. They're not going to peek you through the smokes right here. You're inside of this smoke for cover. The only thing that can really do damage to you is if the player here at CT starts spamming through that smoke to prevent the bomb plant if he hears you planting. And that's something you really have to deal with. So maybe even an extra flash to prevent that player, you know? Throw the flash down. Throw a nade over there. He's got to move. He's got to screw around, and then you get that bomb planted. I don't know. I think that'd be a nice way to do it. So those 3 smokes, you could throw 2 Molotovs, one there, and then some flashes over there. I don't know. I think it would work out pretty well. I would say the reason it didn't work in this specific case, even though it's super creative, is that TSM prepared for it. We have 3 players inside of the site ready for this to happen, so very smart of TSM. Look at the positioning of Dupree there behind that box and able to pull off that double frag. Excellent job. And I guess the moral of the story is sometimes you can let your creativity sort of get away from you, and I think it's more important for something to be useful than it is to be creative. And while they were very creative, they were innovative, and they were interesting, they didn't seem very useful, and in the end of the day, it didn't really help them out at all. So, in my opinion, especially if you're just starting out, try and stick with what works, guys, and win dem rounds. Also, smoking kills! Quit smoking, kids! I'm TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer. Wow, it's split. That's very split. I guess I'll have to make the decision, since it's pretty much tied.